Hello YouTube. I've been meaning to do a video for a while where I recommend some religious literature which I've been reading, and I'm also going to include some information for apostatism regarding sources for combat and creation myths which have influenced the Hebrew Bible. I'm going to include Amazon links and ISBN numbers for all of these books. If you haven't checked out Apostatism's channel previously, please do so. The first book I'd like to recommend is Canaanite Myths and Legends by J.C.L. Gibson. It includes a translation into English of most of the texts for the Canaanite religion which had been found. They were found at the ancient city of Ugarit. And two stories which are pretty important here would be the stories of Baal and Yam, and also Baal and Mot. They're two different combat stories, and motifs from both of them end up in the Hebrew Bible. Another book I can recommend is Stories from Ancient Canaan by Michael Coogan. It includes less texts which have been translated into English than the previous book, but the type and the translation is easier to read, and also the introductions to the different stories are very informative. One more thing about Canaanite Myths and Legends is that in the margins of the book it includes hundreds of biblical references for different terms, practices, and motifs which show up. Another book is From Epic to Canon by Frank Moore Cross. What may be interesting for apostatism here is chapter 4, where it talks about the olden gods and different creation myths in ancient Near Eastern literature. And it basically says that there's two basic types of creation myths. One is a theogony, which is literally birth of the gods, and then two is a cosmogony, where order or kingship is established in the cosmos. And it gives a few different examples from ancient Near Eastern literature and briefly compares them to the creation myths in Genesis as well. Regarding source criticism and textual criticism of the Torah specifically, first 5 books of the Bible, I'd recommend Who Wrote the Bible by Richard Elliott Friedman. I think that he gives a lot of evidence, not only in support of the documentary hypothesis for the construction of the Torah, that there's basically 4 main sources which comprise not only these first 5 books, but also the books of history from Joshua all the way through 2 Kings. And he does a great deal in attempting to identify the individual authors of these sources. Kind of as a companion to that, I would recommend The Bible with Sources Revealed. So this is a personal translation of the Torah by Friedman himself, and the different sources have been color-coded, so it makes it easy to compare and contrast sources or read only texts from one specific source if you wish to do so. Another book by Frank Moore Cross, which I wanted to recommend, which From Epic to Canon is kind of a sequel to that, is Canaanite Myth and Hebrew Epic. Another book I can recommend is The Origins of Biblical Monotheism by Mark S. Smith. So the title is fairly self-explanatory, but also delves into a lot of the Ugaritic literature of the Canaanite religion and how that influenced the religion of the Bible, which evolved over time from its polytheistic background into monotheism. An earlier book by Smith that I can recommend is The Early History of God. A bit of an unrelated topic would be this book, what I just checked out, God and Sex, What the Bible Really Says, also by Michael Coogan. Now, I like this book because I think that it's primarily concerned with just providing the information available on what the text actually says and means. I don't think that Coogan takes the position of a conservative theologian, but he also doesn't take the position of a gay activist when analyzing biblical texts. One last book I can recommend for now is The River of Fire, which was given to me by request by the YouTuber All Saints Monastery, whose channel I can also recommend wholeheartedly. If you're interested in current Orthodox thought regarding the nature of sin, what Jesus' death accomplished, and the nature of heaven and hell, that's a very good book to check out, and it's very easy and quick read. I'm also going to include in this video a bit of a list of the different Bibles I've accumulated and a little bit of background on where these came from. Okay, now the Bibles. This King James Bible is the very first Bible that I got after being accepted into the Calvary Chapel. Accepted is probably not the best word because there's no official membership in Calvary Chapel. So therefore there's absolutely no commitment in your attendance. Interesting thing about Calvary Chapel was that although the senior pastor always used the King James Version in his sermons, which may tell you a little bit about his point of view regarding modern biblical scholarship, most of the laity and all of the Pew Bibles were in the New King James Version. Therefore, the second Bible I received was New Open Bible, published by Thomas Nelson. This is New King James Version. This Bible was given to me when I was a member of what they call His Club. It's a version of Awana, and I'll link to that. This is kind of like a child's Bible memorization club. And the reason why our Calvary Chapel had to form their own version of it is they did not want to sign a doctrinal statement in order to renew their Awana charter, which would say that they believed that the gifts of the Holy Spirit had ceased. So they had to do that. And another Bible, this is a Reformation Study Bible, English Standard Version, which I affectionately call the Calvinist translation. My dad picked up this Bible for free after he made a love gift to Ligonier Ministries, the head of which is R.C. Sproul. He's one of the most popular Calvinist theologians in the United States. And it's a good translation of the Bible, but all of the notes in the Bible are, they have the particular Calvinist bent. Reading Romans 9 in particular is a little bit of a trip in this Bible. A Bible that I picked up about a year ago, I don't think you can read that, is a Life with God Bible. This is a New Revised Standard Version. And about a year ago, when I was resolving to go through a Bible reading plan this year, I'll link to the reading plan itself, I began wondering whether I should pick a different translation of the Bible. And I came upon the New Revised Standard Version while I was looking into the Anglican Church, and found that the Episcopal Church in the United States and also N.T. Wright had some pretty positive things to say about this version of the Bible. Now, the reason why I chose the Life with God Bible was I wanted to stay away from the more liberal New Oxford Annotated Bible and the HarperCollins Study Bible. You see, I needed something more conservative. So this was the Bible that I found that had the translation that I wanted, but didn't have this liberal bias, which I was so worried of, and that I needed to avoid it. The problem with this Bible that I found was it's a devotional Bible, it's not a study Bible. So all of the notes in the Bible are based on personal application of the texts. And very quickly I found that while I liked the translation of the Bible, the information that it was providing, supplementary information, was unsatisfactory for what I was trying to accomplish. So I ended up purchasing a new Oxford Annotated Bible. This is the 4th edition. It includes the Apocrypha, which I'm beginning to get into. That's the additional books which are found in the Greek translation of the Hebrew Bible called the Septuagint, which are not found in the Masoretic text, which the canon of the Protestant Bible is based upon. This Bible is edited by Michael Coogan, by the way. And I purchased the New Oxford Annotated Bible in preparation to go through the lectures for the New Testament course, which had been put online by Yale University with Professor Dale B. Martin. So it's a very good course. I recommend going through it if you're interested. I will link to it. Another Bible which I recently purchased was the Jewish Study Bible. So this is the Tanakh, the Hebrew Bible only, and it's also a very good translation of the Bible. It is based upon the Masoretic text and not the Septuagint, but the notes are smart enough that if there's reason to think that an older version of the text may be found in the Septuagint, it will give reference to that in the annotations. And I'll link to one video in particular where I point out one of these differences. And I purchased this Bible to go through the Hebrew Bible course, which was put online by Yale University by Christine Hayes. So I would also highly recommend going through that. And I'll link to that. And I will also link to the Heterodoxism channel. They've put a great deal of work into illustrating and annotating the lectures from this course to make it easier to watch on YouTube and not necessarily watch it like it's a lecture. A couple other Bibles which I've been able to pick up from family members. This is a New American Bible, which I picked up from my grandma, who's a very devout Catholic. The New American Bible is kind of a specifically Catholic translation of the Bible, and it includes the books from the Old Testament Apocrypha, which were accepted into the Catholic canon. And unlike the New Oxford Annotated Bible, they've been interspersed with the other books from the Hebrew Bible, as happens in all Catholic Bibles. The last Bible, this is a very old one. This is a Revised Standard Version, which my dad was given in 1957 when he was confirmed into the United Methodist Church. He was raised Methodist. And I find that to be a pretty good translation as well, although I prefer the New Revised Standard because it's easier to read, although I would like that it didn't get into the gender inclusivity when it's really not called for. Oh, one last book that I wanted to recommend, which I hadn't mentioned previously, was Dialogue with a Christian Proselytizer by Todd Allen Gates. He's in my list of recommended channels, and I will link to it here. About a year ago, this was a really important channel for me to come upon and begin to look up some of this information about the Bible and religion in general for myself. So, I hope that you enjoyed these resources and some information about these Bibles, and I'll talk to you later.